Hey guys, this is Bart from TST Industries. We are here in the shop with an S1000RR. We are going to demonstrate an issue that we've been having with 0.6% so far of the units sold to customers that have a misalignment issue. This is a tech tip video. We will first describe the problem, then we'll show you how to solve it. Let's go. So this video will be for those of you guys who have purchased any kit, including the TST Industries Undertale Closeout, which means fender eliminators and just a closeout kit. This area right here on the BMW seems to have some tolerance as it's built from the factory. We have seen most of them come in a form where you take the fender off, you replace the fender with our closeout, and everything matches up really great. On this unit and 3 others we found, there is a very rare misalignment between the main screw to subframe connection. Up here we have some riv nuts that are in a frame component that has no chance to move out of place. Our components are CNC machined in a fixture. They always come out in the same exact geometry. So the misalignment comes from this entire plastic piece being in the wrong place in reference to the riv nuts. So the OEM components line up these grommets with the riv nuts, and the rest of the geometry sits below the entire sub tray. Let me demonstrate that real quick. We're not actually contacting or clamping the sub tray, and there are pretty big gaps in between the fender component and the actual hole in the sub tray. So BMW probably worked this in to facilitate very easy and speedy assembly method on their assembly lines. What we try to do is close out all of these elements very precisely. We don't want debris getting in there. We want this to have a smooth undertail fairing look. The end result here has to be fully functional and also have high-end cosmetics. So this is why we chose to close those gaps really tightly. And now we found out that on some of these bikes, this misalignment will get in the way. So we're gonna jump down here real quick and give you guys another perspective at what's going on here. I went ahead and screwed the closeout onto the whole assembly of the undertail subtray and everything here. And as you can see, we are leaving gaps here, which means this entire plastic piece, the undertail, needs to shift backwards so that when our components are screwed to the subframe, they actually fit into that recessed area left behind by the fender, and then your entire undertail and closeout are flush together, nice and smooth and aerodynamic. So in this video, I'm gonna go through the steps necessary to alleviate that and give you guys a couple extra steps that you will use if you have this misalignment problem, and you'll be successful in your installation. Okay, for the purpose of the methodology for this video, we are starting with the side panels from the tail off and also the seat off. If you need the steps necessary for that, our installation videos for the fender eliminator and taillight include those steps. Anyway, there are some fasteners here in this set of components that we need to loosen and some that we need to take out to make the movement of these pieces possible. We're going to start with these T25 Torx fasteners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we are going to remove this fastener and this fastener from the bottom of the bike. These are the fasteners that come out to make access for the mounting of our integrated tail lights for this bike. If you are doing just the fender eliminator installation, you will need to replace these. For our purpose, we are removing all of the entire fastener set from this side and this side. So we'll do that, and then I'll show you just how much this thing moves around. All right, so let's grab a T25 Torx now and loosen the screws. I like to get them out pretty far, but still leave them engaged into the threads. Now I'm going to hop down and remove this fastener set. Like I said, we are doing a taillight installation on this bike, so I'm going to remove that fastener set. If you're just doing Fender Eliminator, all you need to do is loosen it. And at this point, I can illustrate to you guys just how much movement we have here. See all that movement? You can reference it on here with the key cylinder sticking out. This is where we started, pretty much flush to this plastic. You could actually push it all back and shimmy it, and thereby making proper clearance for our closeout from the bottom. And we will leave all this stuff loose, get the closeout in, make sure it mounts up properly, and then tighten everything up. If you're doing the taillights, I encourage you to do the closeout and taillights before tightening anything down and then returning to the reverse order of disassembly. Now with the undertail and top of the tail loose, we have some movement in here. We already punched this thing all the way back. I'm going to attempt to get my screws in through the closeout into the subframe. And as you can see, we already have better alignment, or pretty much perfect alignment here. All it took was loosening those screws and shimmying all those components backwards on the bike. In a previous scene, we showed you just how bad this thing was. It was way off, way back here, biting on the plastic here and leaving a giant gap, and now it's all good. So let's get that tightened down. I like to do a progressive tighten on these things. Go all the way to bottom, and now silky smooth. I love it. Now all that remains to do here is make sure that we are lined up properly, we have proper gaps, we don't want to leave too much here, too little here, or vice versa. And then you could tighten this down, and if you're not doing the taillights, you are just going to replace these components here. We are going to do the taillight, so I'm just going to throw them in and then check the gaps while we're rolling video, just to see if I have any additional comments on the taillights. All right guys, I have fitted the taillights into the pockets here. Everything is lining up with the amount of gap that these were designed with. I think everything looks good. If it doesn't look good to you, you can always just loosen the closeout and move stuff around a little bit more before you start tightening things in sequence. You may have to cater to your bike's nuances as far as gaps go. Here, everything looks pretty good, so I'm gonna grab my T25 Torx and start tightening down on things, and then we'll go through the reverse order of disassembly here. All right, you guys, as you can see here, even though this specimen of a bike had a severe misalignment in these components, we were able to restore the proper alignment and get all of our components in here, make the undertail and closeout nice and flush and flowing, and the taillights installed in here with no unsightly gaps. Everything came together well. It's an added probably 2 to 5 minutes of work to get all these things loosened up and adjusted. It's not a lot of work. Some of the bikes are going to experience this. You guys will have to go through it to correct it, and here we've empowered you with the steps necessary to get that done. Thank you for watching. See you later. Ride safe.